thrive. All right. Energy, vitality is moving out of Cancer into Leo. We have Mars and Leo officially transiting today. Thank the gods. No shade against Cancer, no shade against Mars and Cancer. I'm just saying things were a little watery, dreamy even, which nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying I am ready for this clarity, especially as we have Mercury transiting through Aries. What's going on? Welcome in. If it's your first time, welcome into my humble abode. My name is Rainy Storm Crew, aka Rainy Storm. If you are here to transform, then you've come to the right place. All right, we're here talking about evolutionary astrology, evolutionary for the soul. If you are returning, what it is, what's up. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can definitely find that link down below. I'm also working on courses, so by the time this drops, there might be some new courses up. I'm not really sure. By tomorrow, we'll see. I'm still in the process of recording, and if not, that's okay. I'm also going to be having guidebooks because I know a lot of y'all have been asking me about journal prompts and writing prompts, and we've done that through the Substack. If you're not already subscribed to the Substack, you can subscribe for free down below. Just weekly updates with what's happening, a little bit of my own personal thoughts in astrology. But we will have some guidebooks that you can actually work through as well in regards to your moon sign and also in regards to your North Node. Again, that information will be down below in the description box. Now, as I'm recording this, it'll be the North Node guidebook. The moon sign will follow promptly. I know I love to talk about the moon. I think it's something significant, but we'll get into that in another video. Right now, we're talking about Mars and Leo. So we're going to be going through, this is going to be an all signs, rising sign by rising sign. So you want to look into your rising sign to see where Mars and Leo will be transiting. This Mars and Leo transit will be happening from April 18th, 2025, all the way until June of 2025, y'all. Use this energy wisely. If I'm going to say anything, use this energy wisely because it's such a focused, it's fixed fire, all right? Leo is the energy of fire, drive, passion, energy, vitality. This is the inner child that's wanting to express itself. It's also about getting things done. You know what I'm saying? Mars and Leo is not here to be like, twiddling the thumbs. Maybe I should. I don't know if I want to. I don't know. IDK my BFF gel. All right. Leo is like, okay, let's get it done. All right, let's get it handled. And what do I need to do in order to make these things happen? So wherever it is in your chart, take this energy and run with it, okay? Authentic self-expression, but one thing that you do want to watch out for with this Mars and Leo transit is because it is Martian energy with Leo, just be careful with the debacles, all right? Like if it doesn't need, I'm not saying that conflicts won't arise, especially as we move through Taurus season. It's going to be squaring fixed earth and fixed fire. Is going to be like creating tension, but tension doesn't necessarily always have to be a bad thing. So if you can handle like dire situations with ease at this time, if you need to walk away, then walk away. Every, conflict or every thing doesn't necessarily have to have like a response, nor does it have to be something that you have to because Mars and Leo can be that quick fire. Like, I want to respond right now. I'm about to tell you where you had me messed up type stuff. You feel me? So just ease, my queen, okay? Ease, at ease, my king. At ease, my queen, as Umar Johnson say. All right, so as we get into it, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. I don't want to hold y'all anymore with this energy here. Also, too, I want to say before, it does have to do with leadership and confidence. So this is going to be doing a whole revitalization when we do have Mars and Leo. So let's go through the rising signs. So we'll start off with Aries Rising first and foremost. Aries Rising, this will be in your natural 5th house. It's where Leo is naturally placed. And then also you'll have Mercury transiting your first house. So this is going to be about your self-expression, the ways in which you're expressing yourself. Like, do you feel like you're expressing yourself at your highest good? Oh, also while I'm doing this, let me make sure I write on down the times so we can do what we got to do. Hold on one second. Yeah. So do you want to make sure that you're expressing yourself to your most highest ability, right? You're learning how to become and embody the traits of Aries Rising. So Mars and Leo is going to ask you, like, do you have any type of creative projects that you're working on at this time? You want to see also too where Mars is located in your chart. So for you, that would be your first house. Mars meaning Mars rules over Aries. You are at Aries Rising, so Mars rules over you naturally. And then also you have your 8th house, which is where Scorpio is, because Scorpio is also ruled by Mars. So there could be like a deep soul revitalization of you and your energy. Like, you're asking yourself, well, how do I express myself like outwardly into the world? You know, are you an artist? Are you a performer? Are you a singer? Are you a dancer? Are you a tumbler? Or are you a non-tumbler? Aries Rising, okay? So look into that. How are you expressing yourself on a day-to-day basis? I know this is not necessarily 6th house per se, but like, is creativity fueling your everyday life? And if so, Mars and Leo transit is going to give you that extra oomph, that extra push to get into it. Now, I will say this before we go ahead and move on to Taurus Rising. Because 5th house also rules children, all right? It not only is like the pregnancy of the creative project, but this could be the pregnancy of a baby, all right? This also has to do with flirtation and romance and things and risk-taking and gambling. So if you ain't trying to get pregnant or you ain't trying to impregnate somebody at this time, Aries Rising, heed, all right? Because this could be the time. You could be feeling a little extra more flirty. You know, you could feel a little bit more, you know, got a little bit more Ross in the sauce. You feel me? So just heed. At ease, Aries Rising, at ease. All right, now for Taurus Rising, this energy, let me make sure we're writing this on down. Got my dang pencil done broke off. For Taurus Rising, this energy of Mars and Leo is going through that 4th house, okay? This 4th house could feel a little, you know, I will say this, there could be a lot of just energy going into the home, whether you're like wanting to add more like creativity into the home, you're wanting to add more like that sense of like zest, and maybe you even physically want to get yourself up and moving again around the home. Maybe you're wanting to redecorate the home. Also too, you know, there could also be like fights in the home as well, or just a lot of tension in the home. So if you could break up the monotony and use that energy to just maybe, I would even say, I don't know why I'm hearing this, but like get rid of some things in the home, or like just, you need more energy, you need more zest, you need more creativity in the home. You know what I mean? Maybe changing some things around, maybe changing like some furniture around, maybe adding more color to the space. You know what I'm saying? Or things that you can do creatively, like writing, painting, drawing. You might just feel this sense of needing to like add more pizzazz and get the energy, clearing like energy so you can feel like more, I don't know, I would say tapped in, but just so you can have a little bit more like creative room, so you don't just feel like, especially in your home space, you're not feeling like down or depressed. You know, I'm not saying that you can't be depressed, you know, and if you are depressed, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is maybe moving the energy around to kind of get that flow, that creative flow going, whatever the situation looks like, whether you're cooking something new, you know, you're changing up you're changing up the way that you're eating or ingesting things, you know, because Aries is going to be, Mercury in Aries is going to be creating a trine over to, Mars and Leo is going to be creating a trine, which is like togetherness, you know, working with this energy of Mercury and Aries. So subconsciously, there's going to be a lot of clearing. There's going to be a lot of things coming up to the surface because Mercury is there. So you just need an outlet, okay? So keep that in mind as we're transiting through this Mars and Leo transit. Okay, for Gemini Rising, Gemini Rising, this Mars and Leo transit is going to be going through that third house, okay? So there could be a huge focus on communication. There could be a huge focus on like wanting to express yourself through higher pursuits. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're like taking a course, you know, you could find yourself, not necessarily, I mean, some of y'all might be going back to school, but this is like learning like a new skill. Third house has to do with skills. You know what I'm saying? Like many skills, communication, all forms of communication. Maybe you are that writer, speaker, you know, maybe you do have like a, you know, something that you want to give or something that you want to create, you know. Mars is also ruling over your 11th house in Aries, and it also rules, I'm trying to think, where is Scorpio in that chart, Gemini Rising? It also rules your 6th house because Sagittarius is 7th. Yeah. So it also rules your 6th house. So this is like day-to-day routines. You could even be like really, especially with this Mars and Leo going through the 3rd house, 11th house being like long-term hopes, wishes, dreams, traveling. It's also organizations that you're connected to. This also has to do with friendships. So maybe, I don't know, something in the day-to-day routines could be changing at this time. But you can also basically maybe be reevaluating like what you want to do long term. You know, this could just be like this, I kind of don't want to do this anymore. So maybe you like changing directions. You let me know in the comments down below. Are you considering maybe changing directions? Is there somewhere else that you're thinking about going or something else that you're thinking about that you want to do? This, whatever it is, this has to do with your expression, how you're expressing yourself, how you are, you know, seeing yourself, how you're communicating that outwardly into the world. Okay, so that could just be going through a change. You could feel like you're having a rebirth, if you will, Gemini Rising. So that's what I have for you. Now, when it comes down to Cancer Rising, your focus will be on the 2nd house. Mars and Leo will be transiting through that 2nd house. This is finances, values. This is also not only internal value, but this is material value. There could be a huge drive to increase your resources. And it's also a revitalization of your personal value as well, with Mars and Leo transiting the, 2nd house. Mars is the thing that cuts. It cuts things away. Just as much as like you can have that drive and fire to go towards something, it's also cutting at the same time. Like finding ways to like, I kind of don't want to do this, but I want to do this instead, or I want to do this. Also, Mars rules over your 10th house where Aries is, and it also rules over your 5th house where Scorpio is. And so, I don't know, Mars and Leo is just creative energy in general. So this is something that you're just wanting to maybe implement into like your overall ways, especially when it comes to like your material gains, your finances, and making money. You also just you probably are in a space right now, especially too, where you're just looking to see like, well, what does inspire me? What makes me feel passionate? What makes me feel motivated? What makes me feel comforted? You know, you're a Cancer Rising, boo. You know what I'm saying? Like you're supposed to do things that make you feel good and make you feel, you know, appreciated as well too, and comforted. This can also be like working with children or working with kids or helping kids that have maybe been through some, especially because like I said, Scorpio is in the 5th house, maybe that have been through some like crisis or traumas, or helping them like really see their own power and personal power. It doesn't have to be kids, but this could be something that has to do with kids. I don't know why I'm picking up that, especially because you're a Cancer Rising and Scorpio, Mars rules. Mars rules over Scorpio, and Scorpio is in that 5th house. So you could definitely see something like that. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, or what you are experiencing, or what you would like to experience during this transit. Now, for Leo Rising, okay? Leo Rising, this Mars and Leo transit for you is you, all right? I know, I'm pretty sure this Mars and Cancer transit has been hell. Extremely, like it's been probably emotionally very draining because it's been transiting that subconscious mind of the 12th house. So dreams could have been really crazy. Your mental, you could have felt maybe even agitated or irritated. You know what I'm saying? Because Mars and Cancer does not like to be pushed. So during this that transit, you could have been feeling like, God, I'm just like irritable and I'm moody. I'm feeling all these types of ways or whatever. But the 1st house is you. So now you're like reestablishing, that spark is reestablished reestablishing itself when it comes back into Leo. Okay, so your identity, your appearance, any type of initiatives that you want to do with yourself, whether that's like a physical activity, maybe you're wanting to like exercise, get yourself like physically fit. Also, because you getting physically fit or getting yourself into like some type of physical routine is really helping you with your mental and how you see yourself. There could definitely be just like the surge of like inner confidence in wanting to take charge over your life, you know, over the things. Because first house is first house, all the, you know, houses in astrology are very personal to you, but first house is you. You know, it's who you are embodying, the energy that you're embodying to be. So you can just feel like this extra spark to really break away from anything that's made you feel like you didn't have that fire or didn't have that spark, or you had to like dim in some type of way or form, or you had to shrink in some type of way or form. That's all coming out in the playing field, okay? All right? Just beware, especially because Mars is going to be opposing your 7th house. Just beware of arguments with other people, all right? You know, Pluto's there, so it could be like some debacles. You know, it's slow transit. It's going to also be opposing Pluto and Aquarius in that 7th house. This has to do with like your relationships, romantic marriages, partnerships, contractual agreements and stuff. So there could be a little tension, especially as we get towards the end of the month. It could be a little tension there. So just be wary of that while we are going through this transit, okay? Now, Virgo Rising, this Mars and Leo transit is going to be going through your 12th house, okay? So your subconscious, you know, solitude, spiritual practice, past lives as well here. Dreams, the ways in which you escape, you know. Hidden enemies is also found in the 12th house here. This is going to be a very healing space for you. I'm pretty sure you're like, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Well, that's too damn bad, Virgo Rising. It's too damn bad. Because it's time. Any of those subconscious fears, beliefs that you've been holding on to for dear life, and there's mutability here. You're learning how to be mutable. You're learning how to be flexible, Virgo Rising. But anything that you've been holding on to for dear life in that subconscious mind is all coming up to the surface. So with this Mars and Leo energy, it's giving you the vigor, the vitality, the confidence, okay, to conquer whatever has been lingering in the back of that head. Think of it, like I like to say with 12th house energy, is you going up to that addict, okay? You're dusting off. I'm cleaning out my closet, okay? Going up there, getting all the stuff dusted out, cleaning out, you know, the basement, cleaning out the attic, getting all that stuff, looking at it for what it is, throwing it away if it needs to be tossed, okay? Also, too, honestly, another thing that's coming up for you, Virgo Rising, is I can see somebody maybe taking a trip, distant travel as well. It's not necessarily Mercury per se. All right, it's not Mercury per se, but I mean, 12th house is distant land. So you could want to maybe take like a trip to a different place, a different country, just to have some fun, just to kind of release and break off the monotony and things like that here. So let me know in the comments down below what you are planning for this, you know, transit. If you have any like hopes and wishes or things that maybe you've been experiencing with this Mars and Leo. But it's coming to be clear. Just know that whatever it is, you know, inner child wounds, past life wounds, those things are coming to be cleared at this time, so you can really step in to that, the truest version, okay? True version of yourself, all right? With a new sense of clarity. All right, so for Libra Rising, we have this Mars and Leo transit going through your 11th house. This has to do with your friendships. It has to do with the organizations that you are connected to. It has to do with your hopes, dreams, wishes, collective humanitarian pursuits as well. Now, definitely might feel yourself stepping into a leadership role, you know what I mean, in this transit. You could want to take on leadership positions, all right? So this is what I think of, like, for example, somebody maybe who, you know, because it's Libra Rising, so maybe somebody who's done like wedding planning or something like that, or event planning and stuff. And maybe you work behind the scenes, for example, as like an assistant, and you were like assisting somebody with their event planning or things like that. But then after a while, you realize like, I'm actually pretty good at this. Like, you know, you notice yourself kind of managing, you know, people and kind of knowing where things go and kind of doing more than just assisting. And you're like, actually, you know what? I think I want to step into more of like a director's chair, right? Or want to step into actually like, you know, doing the actual event in its whole, and, you know, managing or things like that. Or you could even be promoted to a leadership position in that. For example, it doesn't have to necessarily be wedding planning or event planning, but this is something that you can see. You know, this is like somebody directing a play. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody, you know, this can also be like, because like I said, it has to do with a team. So now, I don't know, you're leading like a team or a group presentation or something like that, you can see. Now, also Mars, just be careful with the conflictual disagreements, I should say. You know, Mars and Leo can be pretty, it can want to scrabble, you know, in some ways, shapes, and forms and things like that. So just be careful of like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be you, it could also be people in the group, but there could just be a heightened, especially as we move through Taurus season, it could be, you know, some egos clashing and things like that. So if things kind of like bubble up to the surface and they're like, oh man, you know, things kind of get a little hostility, things like that, do what you can to like, if you can diffuse the situation, diffuse it. If you can't, walk away and then find another time to revisit the situation. All right, Libra Rising. All right, for Scorpio Rising, this is happening in your 9th house. This Leo energy, or I'm sorry, this is happening in your 10th house, Scorpio Rising. So let me see, let me write it down for you. Okay, for Scorpio Rising, this is happening in your 10th house. This has to do with your career, public image. This has to do with, you know, being seen. And I know for Scorpio Rising, you don't want to be seen. You're like, I just rather stay in the background. You know, I don't necessarily want to put myself out there. But you, just like Libra Rising, might be stepping into more leadership roles. You know, you might be putting yourself out there as a creative. You might be putting yourself out there, you know, to lead and guide, you know, people. You have the energy of leadership. Like you're being seen as a leader. Even if you don't want to be seen as a leader, you're going to be throttled into the position of leading. All right, so look for opportunities. And if that's not where you're at right now, I would definitely say look for opportunities that allow you to do so. I just feel like, especially for Scorpio Rising, you're not looking to necessarily, maybe low key on the flip side, maybe you're looking to be that, but at the end of the day, you're going to be put into those positions whether you like it or not. I'm just saying, I'm just the messenger. You know what I mean? I'm just here. I'm just the messenger. I don't, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, just be confident is what I want to say. Be confident in your ability to lead. Be confident in your willing to like express yourself in wherever spaces that you do end up or you're seeking to be in. But now it's time. Then if you can, be seen. Put yourself out there. You know what I mean? Figure out ways during this transit to show up. And I'm not saying that you have to show up every single day, like on screen, or show up every single day, like, but you are going to be asked to like put yourself out there. So get ready, Scorpio, because it's happening. Scorpio Rising, because it's happening. Now for Sagittarius Rising, this is going to be going through, this Mars and Leo transit is going to be going through your 9th house. Okay, higher education, philosophy, travel, belief systems. You know, this is where we talk about a long distance travel, trade. This has to do with higher education, book publishing or publishing of some sort. You could find yourself wanting to expand. I would not be surprised if also you took a trip, like Virgo Rising. If you were like planning on taking a trip, you're like, you know what, I want to go have some fun. Like, this is getting too much, you know. Or maybe you decide that you want to go take, you know, some type of class, some type of course, you know what I'm saying? To like really expand your, I don't know, if you're learning something that you want to go learn more about, you're going and taking that course. And if it's not a course, you're like physically putting yourself in the space to learn, you know. it's really, to me, this just feels like leadership over your ability to expand new horizons. So if it's something that you've been stuck in for a long time, that you like kind of been back and forth about, and you've been on the fence about, and you don't know necessarily if you want to really dig into it that deep, this is going to be the time to do that. And you're going to get the signs, you're going to get the synchronicities that the spirit is urging you to move into that direction. Okay. Now I would say this, you know, and it's on a Sagittarius head to do so. When it comes to your ideals and beliefs, because sometimes, especially because it's fixed, fire here, when it comes to the things that you believe in your belief system, just be careful of not getting on that soapbox, Sagittarius Rising. And when I say that, I mean, you know, if you have a belief system that you hold dear to be true, that's fine. But, you know, there could be squabbles over your beliefs. You can feel very strongly and very passionate about your beliefs, and it's okay to feel very strongly and very passionate about your beliefs, but you just don't want this trampling over, like, you know, like I said, you don't want to be fighting over your beliefs, you know what I mean? And when I say fighting over your beliefs, I'm not saying not to stand up for yourself, but I'm saying like squabbling just to be squabbling with folks that maybe not be even in a space to hear you or listen to what the things that you have to say, or you trying to convince people of what you believe. If it ain't for them to believe, there ain't no convincing to do. Just speak your piece and keep it pushing. Okay, Sagittarius Rising? All right. Thank you. Now, for Capricorn Rising, we have this Mars and Leo transit going through your 8th house. Ooh. What a house to be going through, right? Capricorn Rising, this has to do, 8th house has to do with, it's a Scorpio house of shared resources. This has to do with other people's money. This has to do with inheritances. This has to do with intimacy, sexuality, things that are hidden and taboo with the 8th house, okay? And this also has to do with your psychological capacities, right? 8th house is the psyche. So you could feel at this time that you might be forging new connections, especially when it comes to your partnerships. We know 7th house is more so partnerships and things like that, but the finances, maybe you have financial gains coming from other people, partnerships, financial partnerships that are coming from other people, or maybe you're stepping into some inherited spiritual gifts as well at this time. You know, maybe you're feeling this urge to express yourself in a new way that maybe you didn't previously before with this Mars and Leo transit. Or maybe connecting to like your inner child. You know, 8th house is hidden. So maybe you will find yourself, I don't know why I'm hearing somebody like connecting back to like things that they used to listen to or they used to do back when they were younger or when they were children and things like that. Because Capricorn Rising, let's face it, you come in with a sense of like greater responsibility in this world anyway. So Mars and Leo is asking you to loosen up, have some fun, you know, dive into the things that make you feel good, that make you feel great, that make you feel, you know, confident and ready to take on the day, you know. And also you could just feel like emotionally and intimacy wise, things can be getting a little hot and steamy, you know, a little flirtatious. But 8th house is usually deep. So this is like breaking through the cracks of the surface and really diving down deep into those parts of yourself that may be like, you know, maybe like a special somebody or special somebody's. And it doesn't have to necessarily be romantic. This can also be platonic too. But you're having some breakthroughs during this time. So be sure to ground yourself at this time. And I would say don't feel like you need to necessarily hold back. Say the things that you want to say. Express the things that you want to express at this time. Okay, Capricorn Rising? Okay, so for Aquarius Rising, you have this Mars and Leo transit going through that 7th house, okay? Partnerships, financial partnerships, and also romantic partnerships, okay? It's the Libra house, all right? Venusian house. This is spiritual contractual agreements. This is physical contractual agreements as well. This is your intimate and close relationships. It's not just romantic. It can be romantic, but it doesn't have to be romantic. This can also just be peeps that you are close to, okay? So if you've been a little bit in your bubble, okay, you know, and kind of going off and doing your own thing, because Mars has been in Cancer, so you may be spending a little bit more time at home in your 6th house. When Mars is going to Cancer, you might have felt a little bit more inward, more reclusive, if you will. You could find yourself maybe wanting to kind of step out and, you know, meet people halfway in relationships and things like that. There could be very passionate encounters during this time. all right, with this Aquarius rising. And also maybe you are cutting away in the ways in which you dealt with old relationships with people, especially intimate relationships with people. Maybe you're asking yourselves the questions of like, okay, how did I show up in my past relationships? With whom did I show up in my relationships with? I know it's not Mercury retrograde, so it's not necessarily you're like reviewing, but Mars is the ways in which you cut through things, you know? Things that don't no longer really resonate with you now and expressing. So you could also find that partners now or people now that are coming into your life have this very expressive childlike energy. It kind of brings you out of your shell a little bit as well too. And follow that. Have some fun. Do some, you know what I'm saying? You know, maybe go out and experience different people and, you know, flirt a little bit, joke a little bit, have a good time, you know, go on a date, if you will, if that's something that you want to do. If this is not necessarily having to do with that per se, this definitely to me feels like a new sense of, if you're in partnership, I feel like this could be something that's like maybe that spark is reignited with you and a partner. But if you're single or if you're just kind of, you know, solo dolo right now, this could definitely be just kind of, you know, exploring, you know, dating, seeing what you like in this time, all right? Just be careful of debacles, all right, with other people, with this Mars and Leo, because things can get hot and heated very fast, all right? Now, if you are a Pisces rising, Pisces, this is going to be going through your 6th house, so this is the Virgo house of day-to-day routines, okay? The work that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, okay? You're getting the daily routines streamlined right now, okay? If you've been a little lapsadaisical, a little whimsical, and things have been kind of like all over the place, you didn't have really like a sense of direction, or, you know what I'm saying, you're redefining what you're spending your time on a day-to-day basis. If you need to go back to that routine, that physical workout routine, health as well too, the things that you're putting into your body, the type of things that you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. So if you've been doom scrolling, you put that phone down. It really is them phones, as they say, okay? Put the phone down and get to work, all right, Pisces rising? You know, working on yourself, figuring out what you want for yourself, figuring out what you need for yourself, making a plan, allowing room for that plan to unfold, and sticking to it. I want you to challenge yourself, Pisces rising, throughout this transit from now until the middle of June, as we have this Mars and Leo transit, to really focus, fixed fire, stick to 1 to 3 things, or just stick to a couple of things, and every single day. I know it sounds so mundane, and I know sometimes a routine can feel so daunting because you just want to do different things on a day-to-day basis. Like, I get it, but switch it up a little bit, you know, or don't just say switch it up a little bit. You can make routines fun, all right? So figure out ways that you can make what it is that you're doing on a day-to-day basis fun and engaging, you know, and you'll be surprised what comes up as we move throughout this month, next month, in June, okay? If you stick to it. You know, Saturn and Venus is conjunct right now on your ascendant. You know, it's giving you that wherewithal to make it happen. Okay, Pisces? All right, Pisces. Well, that's what I have for all of y'all. Y'all make sure y'all leave them comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe on this video. All right, like I said, if you are interested in the North Node guidebook, that is also down below as well. And yeah, what else was I trying to say? Oh, if you're interested in trying to figure out how to evolve using your North Node sign is what I mean. Your destiny, your purpose. It's a guidebook and a workbook that teaches you how to really step in fully to this energy. And why? Because I know it's helped me out a lot. Not just the guidebook itself on my own, but just knowing what I know now about my North Node and what it is connected to. So if you're interested in that, that link is also down below. Personal readings also below. And I will see you on the next one, okay? You already know what it is. It's rainy, so check it in, check it out without a doubt. Deuces.